great to use technology to make information more available. It's great to have the most organized website possible. It's great to get permits for things online and that sort of thing. But the bottom line is what we need to do and how we need to do it is going to be defined by the folks who need to use it, and that's you all. Again, this is our Small Business Resource Fair Government Services Edition. We're here to make sure that all of you entrepreneurs who have to deal with regulators in the city are able to talk to the folks who are creating and enforcing the regulations that you'll need to participate in order to have a business in the city of Pittsburgh. We're additionally joined by Joe from the Allegheny County Health Department as well, which is the regulator of food businesses in the city as well as the rest of the county. We've gotten to the speaker portion of our evening, and tonight with us is Ms. Deborah Lamb, the Chief of the Department of Innovation and Performance here at the City of Pittsburgh, Mr. Paul Lager, who is the Chief of the Finance Department, Mr. Guy Costa, the Chief Operations Officer for the city, overseeing the Departments of Public Works and Parks and Rec, and Ms. Maura Kennedy, who is the Chief of the newly created PLI. Can you tell me the letters again? Permits, licenses, and inspections. It is a very excellently named department because now I know what you're doing. So each of them is going to speak to us for a minute or two about, well, I'm underselling, for a few minutes about how their department is trying to be more customer friendly, what they're working on right now, and the basic operations and ways in which you might have to deal with their department, and what we're looking to in the future for these different departments. I believe Chief Lager is going to speak first. Are you a doctor? Do you want to be a doctor?
I'll close it.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Lager, and I am the Director of the Finance Department. I'm better known as the tax collector. So I'm somebody that you probably have questions for. One of the things that we would like to do is make it as easy as possible to separate you from your money and make sure that we get all the revenue we need to get for various tax functions, fee functions, and other permits. One of the things that we do at the city, which is unique and different from other municipalities, is that the city of Pittsburgh collects taxes for the city and for the school district of Pittsburgh. And there is a question and answer period at the end of this session, and I'm happy to answer any questions or challenges you may have about tax efficiency in Pittsburgh, tax rates in Pittsburgh, or anything like that. There are a number of taxes that you would probably be basically interested in. Property tax is one. Usually we call it real estate tax. The rest of the world calls it property tax. We have earned income tax, which is an individual tax for individuals who are employed, not necessarily something you need to worry about, except as an agent for collection. And finally, there is the 0.55% tax on payrolls, which is a replacement for the old business and mercantile taxes that we used to have. So the city essentially does not have business taxes in any traditional sense anymore. I'm not going to say a lot more because I want you to get through the rest of the speakers. They're going to talk about things, nice things like making your place nicer and prettier and getting permits and things like that. My function really is to make sure that we collect the necessary revenue so that we can do all of the other things that the city is required to do. My personal objective with that is if somebody does not pay their tax, we pay their tax for them. So it's important that there is fairness in tax, that there is ease of collection, that you understand why and what you are paying as easily as possible. And if you have any questions, please just come into the department. We're on the first floor and the second floor of this building. Feel free to ask any questions you want. We also respond to email, phone calls, and you can Twitter some of the people, but a lot of us you can probably simply text. So I'll let the rest of them pick up and talk. Who's next?
So, are you gonna? Okay, well, I'll introduce you. You're a superstar, man. You can't walk up here cold, you know. So up next is Chief Costa. You may recognize him from famous Christmas specials like Rick Seebeck's Pittsburgh Christmas Special. But here today he is in his capacity as Chief of Operations for the City of Pittsburgh, mostly to talk about the Department of Public Works, which is the one that entrepreneurs are more likely to interact with than Parks and Rec. Chief?
Thank you. Thank you, Henry, for putting this program together, and thank everyone for coming out this evening. A good evening. My role as Chief Operations Officer for the City of Pittsburgh is to oversee the Departments of Public Works, Department of Parks and Recreation, the Pittsburgh Parking Authority, as well as the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority. I'll start from the bottom. Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority provides water and the sewage for the residents and the businesses throughout the City of Pittsburgh. For the most part, PWSA, we do have other water entities in Pittsburgh. We have the Pennsylvania American Water Company that provides water in the southern part of the city, and then in the far eastern part of the city, we have the Wilkinsburg Penn Joint Water Authority that provides water. But for the most part, if you live in the city of Pittsburgh, have a business in the city of Pittsburgh, PWSA, the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority, is providing water and sewer services for you in the city of Pittsburgh. Also, the Parking Authority, and the Pittsburgh Parking Authority is responsible for the enforcement of the parking enforcement rules and regulations that we have on on-street meters. That's mostly in your business districts and in the central business district, as well as off-street metered parking lots. The off-street lots are generally throughout the business districts. They also oversee the RPP program throughout the city of Pittsburgh, and they operate several parking facilities and parking garages, one in Shadyside, one in Oakland, and many in the downtown area. So a lot of you will interact with the Pittsburgh Parking Authority throughout your business career. The other one is the Parks and Recreation Department. Parks and Recreation is the fun department, so if you want to go ice skating, you want to sled ride, if you want to go play basketball or use one of our rec centers, that's the place to go. And we also provide senior centers for our seniors throughout the city of Pittsburgh. But the main role, the reason I'm here is for the Department of Public Works. Along with the Department of Public Works today, we have Marcel Newman. Wave Marcel, okay. Marcel, and also Ben Carlise. Ben is a longtime Public Works employee. He can probably answer any question you have about licensing and permits in the Public Works Department because Ben oversees that. And Marcel has been working in various capacities throughout her career with the City of Pittsburgh, and we're glad to have her in Public Works. So feel free to ask Ben and Marcel any questions you may have. What does Public Works do? Well, Public Works is responsible for the street lighting throughout the city of Pittsburgh, every street in the city of Pittsburgh, every park in the city of Pittsburgh, and also they're responsible for issuing permits. If you want to do work in front of your establishment within the city right away, your sidewalk, you need to get a permit for that. If you want to do work on your building, you need to, for scaffolding permit, you need to get your permits through the Public Works Department. If you want to get, if any of you have businesses where you want to have an extension of premises, where you want to be able to vend and have folks in front of your business, you need to get a permit through Pittsburgh Public Works, as well as if you want to have a sidewalk cafe. We are strongly encouraging sidewalk cafes throughout the city of Pittsburgh, but they have the permit to allow the sidewalk cafe. You need to go through the process with the Department of Public Works, and they'll work closely with you to allow you to have that permit. Also, they do legislation. They do legislation from renaming streets, encroachments. When I say encroachment, you may want to add something to in front of your property and permanently install it. You may want a bike rack in front of your property. You'll work with the City of Pittsburgh Public Works. Also, dumpster permits. Anyone that needs to put a dumpster within the street or on a sidewalk needs to get a permit from the Public Works Department. And that's generally, you'll see the big red dumpsters throughout for contractors that dump their debris and so forth. So that's another one. And valet parking permit. Valet parking, Pittsburgh in 2013 enacted a new valet parking. So if you do have a restaurant and you want to have a valet service, parking service in front of your establishment, you'd have to go through the Public Works Department. The Public Works Department in the Bureau of Engineering and Construction, their traffic engineer division will review it and make a recommendation on what size and if they will approve a valet parking space for you. So they work on that. Loading zone permits. If you feel it's necessary that your business needs a loading zone near or in front of your business, they will work with you. But keep in mind, when you do get a loading zone, it's not yours specifically, even though it's in front of your business. You need to share it. Anyone who wants to use that in the surrounding area is entitled to use that loading zone, and they need to follow the time limits, either a 15-minute loading zone or a half-hour loading zone. So they do work on that. Other things that they do is machinery right-of-ways. That gets into big projects. And for example, in downtown Pittsburgh, we have some major constructions with new buildings going on, and the streets are closed, and those folks are paying for the access to use those streets while the construction project goes on. So those are called machinery and equipment permits. And another one they do is film permits. Anytime you want to film a movie in the city of Pittsburgh, which we've seen quite a bit of, you have to get a permit through the Department of Public Works, and they work very closely with you. And another big role they have is dealing with special events. Just about every special event in the city of Pittsburgh gets Public Works involved. It may be rental of bleachers or bike rack or showmobile or cleanup services. So just about every special event that a community organization has, a business organization has, a parade or whatever, goes through Public Works. So Public Works is a very good department. They maintain 44,000 streetlights, Ben, 45,000, 1,200 miles of streets. Right now they're dealing with snow removal and ice removal throughout the city of Pittsburgh, and that will be their focus. Next couple of weeks they'll be dealing with potholes, and then they're going to start a massive street resurfacing program. The plan this year is to resurface 50 miles of streets in the city of Pittsburgh. So I want to thank Paul for the funding to pave the 50 miles of streets. And then they'll be working on the parks, and then they'll get the pools ready so we can improve the quality of life throughout the city of Pittsburgh. We do have some major projects coming up with Public Works this year. We'll be closing the Greenfield Bridge later this year, and that's going to be shut down for 18 months. So it's going to be an inconvenience for a lot of folks who need to travel to and from the Greenfield area. But in the end, we're going to have a nice, beautiful bridge. We'll be replacing the West Ohio Street Bridge over on the north side. It's a bridge that's in dire need to be replaced. That bridge will be replaced beginning in 2016. Other bridges will be replacing just about every year. Some of our business districts we're working on is the Garfield Business District, Penn Avenue. We have a major project going on there with the reconstruction of Penn Avenue. It's a 5-block reconstruction project. It's taken a little bit longer than we anticipated, but in the end, it's going to be very, very beautiful. That's phase 1. Once we're done with phase 2, then we'll be getting the phase 2. So you'll be able to see a nice business area from just about Children's Hospital all the way down to Grove Street in the Garfield area. So again, I want to thank you for coming out tonight. And again, these Ben and Marcel can answer all the questions that you have. And feel free to call me. I'm in the mayor's office. I'm easily accessible. You can call the mayor's office and they'll connect you to me, and I'll be more than glad to work with you. Again, thank you for coming out this evening. And Henry, do I introduce you again or no? Henry's doing a great job. So I know his boss is here, Val. So, but anyway, Valerie McDonald, our Chief of Urban Affairs, is here. I don't know if she's going to say a few words, but Valerie and I and all of us work very closely together, and Henry works for Val, and they do an outstanding job. And again, you have folks like Henry. Feel free to call Henry. He's a very good gentleman to work with, and everyone here in this room is very good to work with. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yep. Thanks, Chief Costa. And as he pointed out, I mean, the main point of why we're here is to look at each other face to face and realize who we all are and begin a fruitful, I mean, because really we're a team, right? I mean, if we don't pay our taxes, Director Lager can't fund the street lights, and then one of us is tripping on our way to walk down the street. I mean, it's all interrelated, and if we can't get along and work together, then we're doomed. But we're not like that. We're friendly people, all of us in this room, the entrepreneurs, the service providers, the regulators, and we're a team. And moving forward with that in mind, we're gonna have a lot less frustration in all of our lives, and a lot more getting to the meat and potatoes of running our businesses and providing the direct services that we need to provide as city employees. So with that, I would like to ask Director Kennedy of the Bureau of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections, or Department, pardon me. So if you would, come on over. This one's exciting and interesting because a lot of you that haven't opened your businesses yet are going to be looking for occupancy permits and similar. And so I'll leave it to you.
Great. So thank you all for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with everyone sort of one-on-one. So as you probably have heard, PLI has gone through some significant changes over the past year. We've reorganized. Now we have sort of three distinct branches of our department. One, construction, permitting, and the inspection of those permits. And we're moving to cross-train our construction inspectors, so we will have to deal with fewer people at any given job site. You know, easier for you, easier for me to manage, win all around. We also have sort of, if you think of existing businesses and structures, we have inspectors that are gonna be cross-trained to, inspect to make sure that our neighborhoods and businesses are being maintained to code. And then finally, we have the business licensing, technology, and training arm. So those are the sort of the three wings of PLI, if you were. So the purpose of business licensing is not to make it difficult for everyone in this room. I realize that sometimes it can feel like an added burden when you're going through this process and looking to start up. Really, the goal of it is to make sure that the person doing the task is qualified in some ways. Like, say, if you're pulling an electrical permit, we want to license electricians to make sure that the person doing the wiring knows what they're doing so they don't create a public safety hazard for us all. Or secondly, we want to make sure that the activity that you're looking to do is an appropriate thing to be done in that space. So, maybe if you're looking to open up a bed and breakfast, are you going to do it in the middle of our industrial fair? I don't know. So we want to make sure that we're sort of keeping track of those types of businesses so we know where they're happening. So that's really the goal, and that's really the city's thinking behind licensing businesses. That said, to go into that, we haven't really rethought our licensing code in many years, and that's definitely a big goal of this administration. We want to make it coherent. Right now there's a big push in the existing code, there's a big, lots of regulations around arcades and pinball machines and things like that. Sock hops, I think, are mentioned in it. So let's think through this. Are these actually the tasks and the business functions we still care about tracking? And I really appreciate hearing from people their pain points. So we realize that some of these things, are outdated, and this is not how businesses operate anymore. So we really want to rethink, not only what businesses are we regulating, but also, how can we do it better? How can we make it more business friendly? And to that end, we are looking to put all of our data online and make all of our licenses and applications accessible online. So, I'm really lucky because basically all of my data is public. So the goal of this administration to have a map where you can see all of the licenses and permits for a location, all the violations, all the different occupancies, so you can really see what's happening in your neighborhood. It can help you cite businesses. Maybe there might be more business activity or construction activity in a neighborhood than you realized. It can be a really useful tool in that way. And finally, we want to make it such that you don't have to come downtown all the time to access our services. We already have all of our license and permit information online. So all of the applications, all of the reference materials you need, all of our checklists to apply, those are already on our website and accessible. So you can pre-fill it out. Even make out your check before you come down to try to take some pain away. But we are eventually looking to make that application completely online and to be able to start accepting credit cards. So that is a goal. It's going to be a bit of a work to get there, so that's going to be probably a 1 to 2 year time horizon. But we definitely, again, want to make our services more accessible, more transparent, and more predictable as a goal. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much, Director. And finally, Director Lamb from the Department of Innovation and Performance will close this out, and then we'll go back so we all have some more time to speak with each other around the tables.
Thanks, Henry. So, first of all, thank you all for coming. We realize that this is time out from your evening, and we really want to make sure that, first of all, that this is one of many events that we will be hosting. So secondly, as you can see, we are filming this. So the idea is that even if you aren't able to come personally, you'll be able to catch these segments from the chiefs and the directors on our YouTube channel and follow up. We just like to thank Henry for organizing this, as well as URA, Jen and Maza for really doing this. From our end in innovation and performance, obviously Director Kennedy talked about this a little bit in terms of open data, but we're the department that leads a lot of the open data initiative. So eventually, as we move forward, as you know, all non-confidential, all non-sensitive data is going to be open by default through our regional data center. So we are working and supporting all the departments now in trying to identify, clean up, and put that data out there for you. The other thing I think that is most relevant to your business and your work is that in innovation and performance, we oversee communications technology. So this means that it involves the city cable channel, the website, social media, 311, and the idea around these communications technology is that we want to make this information out there accessible for you in many different tools and medium. So the idea is that we'll be upgrading into a third generation website where we'll be able to do more sophisticated online services. So again, you don't have to physically come to the city county building. You'll be able to get a lot of information online or through the city cable channel. So you don't have to, again, physically call someone or come to the city county building. We're hoping to streamline a lot of these communications going forward. So even if you don't have, you know, the city cable channel, for instance, or a TV, you can actually stream it online on your laptop or your computer. You can watch it on YouTube. You can catch bits and pieces and within social media. And finally, if you do really want to talk to someone for non-emergency purposes, you can also call our 311 operators who are available to help you for some of your questioning if you're unable to reach some of these chiefs and directors. So we're really trying to make the pitch in terms of addressing all types of communication to make it more accessible to contact the city for your needs, but also so you can do it independently. You know, that type of empowerment is what we really hope. So it decreases our burden to reach out to you. You'll be able to have this information by yourselves going forward. I think what we want to do is, if there are any general questions, we're happy to answer it. But also, you know, we have tablers out here, so if you have more specific questions concerning your business, you know, we're available. But are there any general questions that you would like to ask? No. All right. So with that, we like to close up this presentation portion and then just free up for everyone to just ask questions among our many tablers out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you.